Once the pinnacle of American achievement, New York City by 1975 was its rotten core, the last place most Americans wanted to go, especially after dark. It was a lawless place, scary and unfit for families and kids. Drugs and crime were the new growth industry. But that's when things got interesting.
In this great city, you had this tremendous decline in the 70s, and Mark Edmonds, who was the founder and the head of the Soul Artists, I remember him saying, Manhattan isn't new, or New York isn't new, it's a zoo. Zoo York was a kind of a symbolic way of expressing that this great idea, this great dream that New York was, had become collapsed, depraved, like a zoo.
To Mark Edmonds, who tagged Ali, a city on the brink didn't seem like such a bad thing. In the unpoliced streets, Ali saw New York as a canvas for his Soul Artist crew and a huge playground for their skate counterparts, who adopted the name Zoo York.
You know, and a lot has to do with the city being in decay for X amount of years. You know, and the window of opportunity for people to run amok and do, you know, mad, like outdoor, like, yeah, I'm taking the city down. You could really take advantage at that time as well. It was a time, it was ripe.
Everybody at that age needs to break out of something, and it was like the table was set. Like, you know, your weapon of choice, a skateboard, a marker, you know.
Now, in 1977, when me and my boys were all riding in Riverside Park, one of us figured out, look, Zoo York fits in a cross, just like Dogtown fits in a cross. So then we said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to write Zoo York in a cross and put it on the bottom of our boards. And from that time on, we just started calling ourselves Zoo York. We skated, you know, in the park. We get board skating in the park. We go shoot some hills. We get board skating the hills. We go skate in the street. We get board skating in the street. We go start looking for spots. And as soon as we saw pictures of guys riding, you know, vertical walls in pools, that's what we wanted to do, period.
Yo, Mom, can I use a monkey wrench? No, I'm not gonna shoot the pump. I just want to work on my bicycle for a little bit. Thanks a lot. I'll bring it right
A diverse group of mostly Upper West Side kids tried to follow the California models shown in the skateboard magazines. Making do without the skate parks and palm trees, they improvised their own interpretation of the glossy dreamland in the magazines.
You know, it was like a total adrenaline injection where I was like, oh, fuck, it's real. And like these photos would just fuel our fantasies, even though our reality here in New York was a much more harsh reality than all of those photos.
The great thing about New York City is that wherever we wanted to go, we can go, and we'd go for free. The subway network branches out to all boroughs. We would hear of places in Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, you know, even Staten Island, and we'd go out there. So we were able to explore all these other neighborhoods. The neighborhood I skated my first pool, known as the Deathbowl, was in the Bronx. One of my very good friends, Puppet he goes, you gotta check this out. There's this pool in the Bronx. All I heard was pool. So we go to this place in the Bronx. I believe it's the last stop on the #1 line, 242nd Street, Van Cortlandt. We get off the train, walk a couple blocks. There's this building. I'd say it's about 9 stories tall. People live there, of course. We didn't care. It was a pool. There could have been a dead body there. We would have gone around. It was the California ghetto dream.
Prior to ever skating any pools, we started building our own ramps, just quarter pipes that would go up You know, we'd push up to a wall, a handball court wall, or, you know, the wall of a garage, or in a courtyard somewhere.
We never walked. We always had our boards on us. You know, anywhere was, you know, platforms, sidewalks, schools, buses, train cars. We just would terrorize the place.
This old guy who's a taxi driver says, "Hey, there's some crazy motherfuckers Riverside Drive. They're going up a wall or something." And I said, "Wow, really?" He goes, "Yeah, they look like a gang. So you go down there, bring your boys." And I was like, "Oh, I want to check this out." So we went to 96th Street, you know, and we hear people kind of like skateboarding and boards falling. Lo and behold, there's a construction site.
In 1977, there was a construction site, a big construction wall that went around all the way out and up to 98th Street.
These guys were inside the construction site, and they used some construction materials to build a quarter pipe. My boys, they were done. They were like, "I don't want to look at these crazy white boys going up and down this quarter pipe. I'm going home." I stayed and I hung out.
It was our own little world. We could do whatever the hell we wanted to in there, and we did.
In 1979, Mark Edmonds, Ali, called a meeting of about 15 people, sat us around the table, and just busted out Zoo York magazine. Zoo York was sort of only in our imagination on the bottom of skateboards. Mark saw the bigger picture, the potential of it as a movement.
Ali laid it out with the magazine he called Zoo York. In the city's decay was the compost for a whole new scene. Of, by, and for young street artists and skaters. A culture of its own. Except in 1979, no one seemed to be listening.
For the very first time, somebody on our kind of street level actually did something where we branded ourselves.
The Zoo York newsletter was just a call to awareness about what was going on.
Ali's vision was ahead of its time, but it was prophetic. Over the next decade, New York would slowly edge out California as the locus of street and popular culture. Still, kids who'd later wear Zoo York gear never knew who the name came from or why it was written in graffiti style.